Hello, Stockton University. I'm Jackson Boisvert.
And I'm Colton van Cleave. We would like to welcome you to this week's Nest.
So get ready, Stockton.
You have just entered the nest.
President Trump delivered his first State of the Union address on January 30th. He discussed many hot topics, including immigration, which has been an incredibly important topic these past few months. For more on his address, turn to page 7 of the Argo.
The Retail, Hospitality, and Tourism Talent Network at Stockton University has received a $275,000 grant from the State Department of Labor and Workforce Development. Diane D'Amico talks about the RHTTN network and how it works with area businesses to develop solutions to workforce challenges and to help grow South Jersey's economy overall. You can see this article on page 5 of the Argo.
Stockton University expanded its facilities in the satellite campus of Manahawkin. This expansion provides more classrooms for the health science program, along with additional general education courses for students.
The experiences of war and human horror can bring a shed of light to the perspective of life through art. And that's exactly what James Rasco does through his paintings. We thank James for his service, and you can find this story on page 1 of the Argo. The full legalization of marijuana came to California on New Year's Day of this year. The topic of legalization of marijuana for recreational use has been a hot topic of debate for quite some time. And the reason we bring this up is because the new editor-in-chief wrote about an article about this in the Argo. And this article was talking about the release of thousands of past marijuana convicts in San Francisco. And I kind of want to take away from California for a second and just focus on New Jersey. You know, like Phil Murphy, he's promised to legalize recreational use of marijuana. And according to NJ.com, supposedly that would bring in about $300 million a year in revenue. But just from an economic standpoint, you know, wouldn't it be kind of arrogant just to think that that's the only source of way we can actually like boost the economy?
And that's a really good point to make, because if you think about it, he really rode the campaign on that promise. That was one of the huge things that he was telling New Jersey voters that he wanted to accomplish. With that being said, I believe that there's a lot of people in the state of New Jersey, all across the country, that do partake in using marijuana. So I think it's a smart idea to take the people that use it, set rules in place so that they can use it smartly, they can use it safely, so where they're not harming themselves and they're not harming civilians. But at the same time, New Jersey's having one of the worst opioid epidemics in history.
That is true.
So I believe that he should first be more concerned about saving our people and helping out deal with the one drug rather than just trying to focus so much on the other.
Legalizing that one. If we were to be legalizing New Jersey, I feel like the biggest issue would be how would you stop high drivers, just like you do with drunk drivers and all that, you know?
Well, in Colorado, the Denver Post made an article talking about how 20% of all fatal accidents, automobile accidents, involve someone who is high on marijuana. And that's an alarming statistic. That's 1/5 of all fatal accidents in this whole state. And I know that the Denver Post also said that the Colorado's crime rate increased in 2016 by over 11 times of their .03 average.
Really?
Yeah.
Surprised about that stat.
And that boosted up to larger than an increase than in 30 of the largest cities across the country. Meaning that, you know, it's not saying because of marijuana, but this is something that just affected the economy. It just affected the way the state operates now.
Affected Colorado, yeah, of course. Now, in your take, Jackson, would you think that the federal government should interfere with states that are trying to legalize marijuana?
I feel eventually that there's going to be a point where there's going to be such a push for this to be legalized that I feel eventually it will be, but I don't think we're at that point yet where it's a huge country issue. I believe that if they were to get to that point where they need to address it and they need to either legalize it, decriminalize it, ban it, however the government plans to go about it at that time, there should be a plan set in motion so that when they get to that point, when they're ready to cross that bridge, it's being done safely, it's being done with the intent of keeping all citizens safe, making sure no one's dying from this, no one's harming others, and making sure that it just goes smoothly.
I agree. And I also feel like, you know, it should just be a state decision, of course. I feel like if the state has the proper plan put in place,
Yeah.
they should have it legalized and without, really any government, federal interference, of course. It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens with, the marijuana issue, the debate throughout not only our state and California, but just the country as a whole.
We'll see how high this topic gets. Well, that's all the time we have for you guys this week.
Be sure to like and subscribe to SSTV on YouTube, and have a great week, Stockton University. I'm Colton.
And I'm Jackson.
We're Stockton University's most trusted news source.
Like and subscribe below.